Oh my God, look at her. What a stinker. I love her.
Love that
I
girl.
love her. She's a bad cat.
What a bad
Bad
girl.
cat with a bad attitude. I hope everyone's having an awesome Comic-Con.
Yes, thank you so much. Congratulations on the nuptials.
Thank
Great wedding,
you
great
so
cake, great
much.
sword.
Thank you.
All right, what can you tell us about Horde Prime and how that affects the season?
So Horde Prime is definitely this looming shadow over this season. We still don't know what his deal is. We know Hordak's take on it, but I don't think that any of our characters are quite prepared for exactly what Horde Prime is going to bring to the table. I don't want to give you much more than that, but he will change everything.
So last season, we see tongue lashing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a hint that maybe we could see those group of snake men
Yeah.
appear?
Well, there's some. We're can't really call them that for various reasons.
Okay.
We're trying not to step on any other toes of any other people who might be exploring the Masters of the Universe universe. So
You could say.
I know. We can't quite refer to this.
I just have to ask my
by
friend.
name. I know. I think the Tongue Lasher was the gang. We originally called them the Snake Man, but they're like, no, sorry.
It's been very interesting watching the dynamics of Glimmer and Catcher because they're such great mirrors to each other. They're both now in this season positions of power, leaders, and both tied so intrinsically to Adora.
Yeah.
So how does this new dynamic, all this new power, really change how we're seeing, like, the everything being affected by that new power shift?
Yeah, I really think that this season it belongs to Catcher and to Glimmer because they've both gotten this promotion, they've moved up into this role, they have all this power and all this responsibility, and also Glimmer is furious at Catcher for obvious reasons, but I really do think that they have a lot more in common than I think either of them would ever care to admit. Glimmer has always, everyone thinks of her as this adorable, pink, sparkly, like little baby, but she's shown at times that she has a little bit of an inclination more towards darkness, where she doesn't have, she's still like, she has a good heart, she wants to protect people, she wants to save Etheria. She's just willing to go a little bit farther than, say, Adora would, who always needs to be in the moral high ground if she can. Glimmer doesn't really have those inhibitions. So I think that she and Catra, they are going to go head-to-head this season, and it's going to be, I think that Glimmer will not hold back in the way that Adora always has.
I think when you were talking about both of their needs for power, but also the need to be validated, it reminded me a lot of Tetsuo. I just watched it here recently, and I was like, it's really interesting to see how Dark Glimmer will look.
I know. Oh boy.
What were your favorite dynamics from the season also?
I really love, it was, we've had the Best Friend Squad as kind of this steadfast pillar in the center of our show, and their friendship is very strong. It's never been shaken before, and a lot of that is due to Bo, who is the glue and the cheerleader, and he's just pure love, and he holds that group together. And I think this season we really test those bonds. And especially for Bo and Glimmer, because similar to Adora and Catra, they've known each other almost their whole lives. They love each other so much, they've known each other for forever, they know everything about each other. And what happens when they start maybe growing apart? What happens then? And I think that Bo, in his own right, my favorite thing about him, I think, is that he has this inner, I think he gets frustrated with his friends sometimes that they're not trying as hard as he is to keep it together. And so I love seeing that side of him, that he makes it seem so easy to be so happy and so full of love, but it is not easy. If you know anyone like that, you know how hard they work to be friendly and optimistic. And to see him have to trying to hold it all together for everyone else is I really like seeing that color on him.
In the premiere, we saw Glimmer and Catcher both got new redesigns. Can you talk about that and what it signifies for their characters in season 4?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Catcher and Glimmer both always felt like the youngest characters of the group. I think their designs early on, Glimmer had a very rounded design, pink fluffy hair, a little bit of shorts and her little tunic that read a little bit younger. While Catcher also, she was a little bit she was a little rough around the edges, a little scruffy. And both of them now are moving into these new roles, and I think they decided their looks very consciously based on what they want to project about themselves. So Catra is trying to become this cold, unfeeling, because she's tired of feeling, dark version of herself, and she has kind of gotten rid of a lot of the elements of her appearance that were a little more cat-like, or were a little bit more like expressing her personality. And this is just expressing one thing, which is like, I am here to win, I am here to take over, and nothing's gonna stop me. While Glimmer, on the other hand, is trying, a lot of her outfit is inspired by her mother's outfit. So a lot of her struggle this season is figuring out what kind of queen she wants to be, and if she wants to be exactly the kind of queen Angela was, if she wants to follow exactly in her footsteps. So there's some pieces of Glimmer's look that are that express Glimmer's personality, and a lot of them that sort of call back to her mother's look.
So what can you talk about this very obscure character that I notice a lot, Kyle, in this group? What's his inspiration for this character, and maybe what's his future for later in the season?
Oh man, Kyle, this is hilarious to me because Kyle he's honestly a little bit of a joke for us. I feel like I've seen this movie so many times where it's like, you have this like very competent female character, and then there's the everyman hero who's not good at anything, he's just normal, and he always is the one who gets the sword, he's always the one who gets the powers. And so in our first episode I was like, what if it was like, we set this guy up, like maybe he'll be the hero, and then it's just like, no, he's just Kyle. He's just Kyle. Like he's not good or bad, he's just Kyle. But honestly, we do love Kyle, so I think we have some fun episodes that feature Kyle this season. I think he's got some growing to do too,
I mean, he seems to have
he's
some
got to
fan
make
base.
his place in the world. He's got to find his confidence. Yeah. I love how much of a fan base he's had. It's like, I'm like, yep, that tracks.
I asked this question to Karen, but I want to ask you too. So we've always seen Glimmer kind of being compared to her mother. Mm-hmm. Now that she's gone and her aunt is more of a person in her life, do we see Glimmer making more connection with her father's side and seeing that potential look to magic and maybe even Shadow Weaver as a place where she can go to find power and not just her mother? Yeah.
I think Glimmer feels a little bit isolated in this new role. She's really relying on the support of her friends, but they also, I don't think, are able to support her in the way she needs. They don't understand what she's going through, being in a position of this much power. And so I think that she's a little bit vulnerable at the start of the season to maybe a negative influence from a certain witchy character who might be hanging around the castle. But yeah, I think Glimmer is very, she's always felt like the weak princess. She suddenly has more power in her grasp than she's ever had before, and very little idea of how to deal with that. So yeah, I definitely think there's more of Glimmer's draw towards the more magical side of her family.
What are you most excited for fans to see this season? Because fans loved the first episode, and I'm sure they're going to love the rest of it. What are you excited to see the reaction to?
Oh man, this is I don't want to give too much information on this, but there's a sort of a new layer to a very mysterious aspect to the show that we've seen before that brings a lot of unexpected heart to it, and I'm very excited to feature it more prominently. Sorry, that is very vague, but there's a lot in this season that I'm really excited for people to see, and yeah, stay tuned.
Can you tease about any of the new characters?
Yeah, we saw a certain little mischievous green elf-like creature on our new poster, and that's Double Trouble. Double Trouble is a non-binary, shape-shifting mercenary who is sort of allied with the Horde this season. They are so much fun. They cause so much trouble, true to their name, and I think that fans are just going to love them because we love them so much, and they're one of the most fun characters to write. More on that later.
Great.
Are we still going to see more of Adora exploring more with Light Hope later on this season, or is this going to be more with Glimmer and Catra stories?
No, there's a lot of mystery still to Adora's life, and she's still very, very actively looking for answers because she still doesn't know what happened in the past with Mara. She doesn't know why this happened to the world, and Light Hope has not been very forthcoming, and so I think that at the beginning of the season, Adora is I think she likes feeling like she has a purpose, so her purpose protecting Glimmer, which she promised Queen Angela she would do, she's like, okay, I know what I'm going to do now. So she feels more confident in her role. But I still don't think she's even started to scratch the surface about, what it really means. And yeah, so there's a lot more to go into.
I'm curious about why you're releasing 13 episodes this season, because the last 2 seasons have been shorter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit out of our hands. We did plan them to be seasons of 13. So the last one, I think, was a little bit of an experiment to be like, we'll be able to bring them out more quickly. There will be more constant content, and then I guess the dial has swung back the other direction. So, but I think it's going to work really great for this season. It's a really good, complete arc, so I think that everyone's going to be really happy with the 13-episode drop. All right. I think... Or we could keep going, I don't know.
No, are you actually working with Kevin Smith in the Master Universe?
No, I would love to do a Christmas special, crossover. I'm sure it's gonna be in a really totally dope Powerhouse style, and ours is gonna be in our more candy colored style. I would love to just bring those two styles together and have them celebrate Christmas and teach the power of love while they open presents, but just as of yet, they have not contacted me for that. So
we have to wait too long for Entrapta to kind of pop up again.
Just Entrapta is definitely on all of the characters' minds, and yeah, I just keep a sharp eye out.